speak into the tall mic here.
Okay.
First question is, the stakeholder committee provided multiple options to cover potential budget shortfalls. Which option makes the most sense to you?
Oh goodness, there was a lot of really good options. We have not been presented with the full gamut of all of them yet. The recommendations will be coming in our April meeting when they'll be all presented to us. I can't think of any one that stands out. There was a lot of them that we actually wound up recommending more, like we wanted to actually add to teacher salaries. There was a couple of different percentages in there. That was one that I think everybody came together that said we didn't want to cut anything. When you look at all of it, when you're talking about students, it's really hard to pick something apart that you know is going to change the education value and the education experience they have by cutting something. So it makes it very difficult. I do know that one thing that we recommended was actually renting out some of our facilities, like fields. It turned out that there's actually a lot of money left on the table. And Coach Kirkendall went through the whole budget with us and told us that there was some savings there that actually could be a revenue generation.
Do you support hiring an FISD internal auditor without involvement of staff? Why or why not?
Yes, ma'am, and we're in that process at this point. We are actually going through that process, and we should be getting recommendations. We've gotten the job description, and we should be getting the recommendations to move forward with that very soon.
Ms. Gillespie, how would you respond to parents who advocate opting out of curriculum they see in conflict with their beliefs?
We have had some people opt out of some curriculum, and I support that as long as we don't get in trouble with any sort of law, because remember, a lot of the mandates are from law that are pushed down on us, not something that we just create. So for testing, children can opt out of testing, and there's several other things that we've come. The teachers are really good at having alternate curriculum or alternative books to read, for instance, and they do a really good job with working with each individual child.
What do you think about the current non-teacher to teacher staffing ratio, and what ratio would you prefer?
Non-teacher to teacher, are you talking about auxiliary, like cafeteria?
Teachers, or is it everybody else?
Well, you do have teachers, but you obviously have to have support staff. You have to have cafeteria, you have to have janitors, you have to have librarians, you have to have, what else did I not mention? Those are things that make the school operate. It would be great to just have a teacher and the kids in the classroom, but there's other things that we need in education to actually make the school system work.
Given that the last high school cost over $110 million, and that land availability is becoming blank because it's so dark in here, I can't read the question.
Somebody lean up against the switch over here.
Thank you very much. This is great. Debbie, let's go again.
Okay.
Given the fact that the last high school cost $110 million and land availability is becoming more difficult to obtain, how would you propose the high school, small school model be cost effectively maintained, knowing that Frisco could be over 400,000 residents?
We've not been given a number of 400,000 residents, but we do have land purchased, and our facilities department works very closely with landowners at this time. There's 3 major ones and then a couple of smaller ones that we've actually talked to about land. We are actually looking at the overall model again. As you know, we went through strategic planning a couple of years ago, and the citizens that were on that wanted to maintain what we call the small schools model, but let me correct that too, because our elementaries and middle schools are not smaller compared to any other district or anywhere around the state. It's really our high school model, and it's not really smaller, it's just that we do 4-year comprehensive high schools instead of 2 or a mega one or a large one. So Plano, for instance, has 10 high schools. They just cut them up a little bit differently, so you have a senior high and a I guess they call it senior high and high school. And then they have a technology center such as we do as well. So we will be looking at some of that. We've discussed, because there's density in certain areas other than other areas. And so it is a consideration, but as at this time, we're still going off of our strategic plan, which always has to be reviewed. So
Will you commit to always having consistent voting times and locations throughout an FISD election? Why or why not?
we do have static locations for when we do combined city and school. We did that a couple of years ago. There was a couple of school board members and city councilmen that came together and came up with those sites, which is what you'll see in May. Those are the same ones that we've had for a couple of years now. I support anything being viewed at. If there was an option to come up with different locations, that's fine. Usually cities do, like, I guess in the special election, they did the election at firehouses and at city locations, whereas a school election is done on school property. So I think that's something that definitely could be looked at, though.
What is your position on the whole child philosophy, and how do you ensure the district is not judging families or their private values?
I absolutely strongly believe in the whole child, and whole child to me is something maybe a little bit different than maybe others view it. I believe in the whole child is that we also, that children are not just college ready, or they are college ready, but or they're not just college eligible, but they're actually college ready, which means that their social and emotional well-being is in that same state to move on. We have concentrated so much on academics over the last few years and gotten into the testing, and there's so many other things that we have forgotten about the child and what we're all here for. And so I am very strong into the whole child framework, yes.
Okay, now we're going to move into the lightning round.
Okay.
2 seconds per question, so please leave it to one word or we won't make it through. Thank you.
Okay.
First one, have you or someone on your behalf ever offered for someone's support or campaign contribution, a board position, or a committee assignment?
Absolutely not.
Would you vote for eliminating the Pledge of Allegiance from FISD schools?
Absolutely not.
How many times have you voted no on an item Dr. Lyons requested?
I have voted no on a few. I can't count.
Should financial data and assumptions from FISD staff or Dr. Lyons be questioned?
On occasion?
Do you support school choice and ESA?
No.
Should FISD pay hotel bills for board members' meetings in the DFW metro area?
That is depended.
Should travel expenses for board members and staff be on the Frisco FISD website?
I don't see why not.
Should FISD fund travel association fees for PACs that work against FISD taxpayer interests?
Did you say association fees?
Yeah, association fees for PACs that work against FISD taxpayer interests.
I'm not aware that any are actually against FISD taxpayer interests.
Should students be able to discuss religious topics among themselves and others?
I believe they are allowed to.
Should schools ask students about sex, drugs, suicide, or family beliefs?
There is a student survey that goes out. I'm not aware of what all the questions are on that survey.
Thank you. You have 1 minute for your closing statement.
Oh, sure. Since I was first elected in 2011, we have grown over 18,000 students and more than 1,500 employees or staff members. We have also built 14 new schools. We have achieved so many things during that time. It's incredible. All of our 9 high schools just qualified to go to state academic decathlon. We just recognized 64 swimmers last week. That is more than the districts combined around us. But all of that doesn't really matter if you don't remember to stay student-centered, and that's the biggest thing for us. And our students need to feel capable, connected, and cared for. But along that same lines, our teachers need to feel capable, cared for, and connected. And that's not only why they're here, but we also need to look for them for retirement. Just like other businesses do, we also need to take care of them in retirement. We have a strong, balanced board right now, and it includes all of our talents. Thank you.